One of the big topics around Minnesota Fighting Vikings OTAs is the health and status of Danielle the Real Deal Hunter coming back from that torn pec, 2 years removed from the herniated disc in his neck, and now teaming up with Za'Darius Smith, one of the best edge rushing duos in the National Football League. Danielle fed the local media Jackals yesterday, and he says Danielle doesn't talk very much. He's not as loquacious and verbose as some of his teammates. So when he talks, when you get an opportunity to hear him talk, he is very earnest, he's very honest, and he got after it yesterday. And Chris Thomason, Pioneer Press, did up a great write-up. These are some excerpts. Speaking of health, I feel good. Last year's injury wasn't as significant as the year before, but it was a 3-month recovery. Had we made the playoffs, it's possible I would have been able to come back, but Vikings did not make the playoffs. But that would have been sweet, man. Like, the Vikings just dragged their ass into the playoffs, and then Danielle Hunter, bow gown. That's Danielle's hell. That's Danielle's music, man. All right. I said it was around February or March he returned to his regular workout routine. I assume that's working out with OBJ as he's done in many off seasons past, the pride of LSU, and then just, I don't know, bench pressing 5,000 pounds. Because, I don't know, man, if you've ever had a pec injury, I've had one back in the day. It's very... You get very wary about things, especially benching. Plus, Danielle Hunter is obviously in a different stratosphere. But for me, just being the young dude and cocksure and just extremely confident in your abilities, like you're out there, you're trying to bench 300, you're doing all that stuff, and then after you have that injury, when you're coming back, you're just like, we're benching the bar, but bar's fine. The biggest thing we had that was. Let's try that again. The biggest thing was having the right people around me, just motivating me and keeping me in the right mindset, he said, of his recovery. And it's really a good thing that Danielle does not strike me as an athlete that has rabbit ears. You can definitely tell when some players or even some coaches, they read everything about them, and sometimes they believe the hype. And here's the thing. You can't be too high or too low. You can't believe all the people kissing your ass, and you can't believe all the people throwing you under the bus. And Danielle, if he had rabbit ears, he probably would have hurt a lot of the fan base. It's time to move on from Danielle. He can't stay healthy. He got paid X number of dollars to play X number of games over 2 seasons. But, like we said, all off season before they paid Danielle that roster bonus, hey, this is not the neck. He proved last season that the neck was fine. It was just a pec injury, just a run-of-the-mill muscle injury. Anything could happen. It's not chronic. It's not joint. It's not anything like that. So I say pay Danielle. He's still 27, man. I mean, come on, man. Blah, blah, blah. So he talked about the bonus, blah, blah, blah. Agent took care of that. Kwesi took care of that. That's cool. Also, one of the great things that Kwesi did right away as GM is that he reached out to Danielle. They talked through, the contract and stuff like that, because Kwesi knows having that dominant edge presence can completely change things on defense. He had Bosa in San Francisco. He was there when they drafted him. He had Myles Garrett in Cleveland. So he saw. He knows. And now he went and got 2 of them. It was za'darius and Danielle. For now, Hunter's role will change in new defense coordinators at Donatel's 3-4 scheme after being a defensive end in the 4-3. Says he'll play both defensive end and outside linebacker, but will stand up much more than before. Quote, I used to stand up when I first got here in 2015, said Hunter, who noted that the Vikings played some 3-4 alignments in week 2 last year versus Arizona. So I know how to do that, basically just integrating my rush angles and my eyes and all that stuff. And he did stand up at times at LSU. Plus, going back, and he did stand up about 19 of 53 snaps against Arizona. He actually stood up at an outside linebacker spot about 14% of his snaps last season before he got hurt. So this is not new stuff for Danielle. Maybe playing a more full-time role in that spot is a bit of a change. And also he mentioned that when they break up into position groups, he's been watching film with the outside linebacker. So that's really super interesting. Mike Smith coming from Green Bay, coaching that position. Him and Za'Darius and just run things, man. Hunter figures to be more of an outside linebacker since when he attends position. Oh, I just said that. I got ahead of myself, man. Blah, blah, blah. But also, so the media jackals, they definitely tried to get Danielle to say something negative about Zimmer, which, lots of players have. Kendrick's, well, in a roundabout way, not like straight up calling out to the carpet, but talking about the culture of the previous seasons. And, of course, who's in charge of culture? Generally, it's the head coach, right? But he did say that people are happier now. There's good vibes. Everybody has a smile on their face every time they come in. And maybe that wasn't the case in the last couple years. But, winning solves everything. A new regime, a new vibe, it certainly does help as well. And I think that Danielle Hunter and Za'Darius Smith, again, knocking on all the wood. Danielle stays healthy. That neck is a non-issue, but stays healthy. Za'Darius, that back. I mean, he proved that back wasn't really an issue in the playoff game against the Niners, right, where he was the best player on the field. Snowy Lambeau Field, where the Packers walked off with that fat L, right? So 99 and 55, staying alive and sacking that quarterback's ass. I love it, man. I'm fired up because the Vikings have had great edge rusher tandems in the past, right? You had Jared and B-Rob, you had B-Rob and Everson, you had Everson and Danielle, and now you got Za'Darius and Danielle. Plus, by the way, DJ, plus Patrick Jones, plus Janarius Robinson. Man. Let's get some. But your thoughts are thoughts. Danielle Hunter talked about his health, talked about the defense, etc. Listen to your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.